Greetings, y'all. Alright, so I'm gonna try to make this quick. I'm not gonna keep y'all too long on here. So I hope everybody's doing good, everybody's doing well. I wanted to touch on this topic because I feel like it is the perfect time to do that. Like, this is a message that's needed. So I will be having an open discussion. If you guys would like to call in, I will leave my number in the chat when I get through all of the messages or what have you. So yeah, let me adjust this just a little bit. Okay, let me see. We good? Yeah, so yeah, I wanted to just lightly touch on friendships, mainly for women, because a lot of times, like, as women, you know, we deal with cattiness, and we deal with jealousy and competitive nature. And not to say that men don't deal with that in their circles and things like that, but it's more commonly experienced within friendships and so-called friendships. So I want to talk about this because y'all know, like, you know, the recent story of a young lady that lost her life in Cabo, surrounded by so-called friends or a friend. It's so many different stories out there. But, you know, the moral of the story, regardless of whether they set her up, whether it was an accident or it wasn't supposed to go down like that, it still happened, right? And there's so many stories. I remember that it was another story that really triggered me, was a story of a young girl and her best friend, and her best friend's boyfriend assaulted her, and it must have provoked some type of jealousy in the best friend or whatever, you know. And the boyfriend and the best friend plotted on her and took her life as well, right? So this is something that I feel like somebody needs to take heed to, and not that it has to escalate to those extremes of that, you know, hopefully not, or where the friend turns on you, but where you get yourself caught up in something with a so-called friend, and then you get the short end of the stick, and this person is still walking around unscarred, or whatever the case may be, right? So, hey, Nina. So I'm going to like talk about some things with that, and then probably share some of my testimony, my experiences with these things, because I want women and young women, because I don't know what age, like the demographic of you that watch my channel, whether you're around my age, you know, your early 30s or older or younger. But far too often, I see women associating with people that don't really like them, or, you know, I've dealt with that. And sometimes you could be blind to it, especially if you're the type of person that really appreciates or really values people in your life, like friendships, family, your romantic partnerships, and your children and all of that. A fossil. Yes, including y'all. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, any age group can resonate with this. And I know that I'm not like an expert or nothing. I'm just on here sharing my experiences, my advice, if you feel like, it's needed, and the guidance that I'm getting to share, because I wouldn't be on here talking about this if I didn't feel like it was needed. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm going to also go over this book. This is a gem. I talk about R.C. Lakes quite often on my channel. He has a YouTube channel, and he helps the demographic of women mainly, and he's been such a blessing. I've been watching him for a couple of years. I posted some of his videos before, I think, on this channel before. But this book called the Queenology book is a gem. Okay, it's a short read. It's not that long. It gets straight to the point. But there is a chapter in his book, and I knew I was going to come across it, but it's a chapter in his book talking about your inner circle and why it is important to vet out people in your life. Same goes with romantic partners. You need to vet out anybody that you allow into your life, right? So I'm going to go ahead and like touch on some points. So you always want to vet out people that you have in your circle. And one of my biggest things that I used to fall victim to is knowing where to categorize people in my life when it comes to friendships, right? Knowing who is a friend versus who is just an associate, maybe, or who's an enemy, right? And how to discern that. I kind of want to blend friendship in with like family as well, because you could have like bestie cousins, right? And I've dealt with that before. I've dealt with jealousy with a bestie cousin, and I'll talk about her in a second. Not talk about her behind her back, but you know what I'm saying. I had a bestie cousin that was very problematic, very competitive with all women. Every woman she had in her life was something was wrong with them. You know what I mean? Like everything was wrong with them. And then when you would hear their side of the story with some stuff going on, like she had a problem with women just in general. And as a person that's like real laid back, like I'm real chill, right? So I usually attract friends that are more extroverted. I would like the more of the introverted, cool, chill, calm. Like I don't really say too much unless I feel comfortable with you or I'm in that place. But if I'm just like getting to know people, I'm not doing too much. So I'll usually attract the friends that are, more sociable, more outgoing and things like that. And I would attract the ones that were bullies, low key bullies, very aggressive, very domineering, sometimes even manipulative. So if you're the quiet friend, you might attract those types of friends that like to bully, that like to gaslight you, that kind of make you feel like you're the subordinate. They'll, it's kind of like, I notice I attract friends like that a lot. That they'll kind of puppeteer you and like move you around where they want you to move you around, or they like that they feel you are the lesser than in some instance. So when you're vetting out people, and then what does it mean to vet? Traditionally, the word vetting is meant for like employee, like when you're hiring a person, you do your background checks on the person and such like that. But nowadays, people use that word when it comes to getting to know a person and investigating who you're dealing with. So it may not be as deep as you like doing background checks on these people, but you got to get to know a person truly. Like it takes time. And friendships that build slowly, just as romantic relationships that they have those slow builds, right? Those connections tend to last a little bit longer than the ones that are like on it real quick, because you don't have time to sit and really get to know a person or really feel into the energy, because you're on go. You're not pacing. You're not getting to know, right? So the word by definition, vetting, means to investigate someone thoroughly, especially in order to ensure they are suitable for a job requiring secrecy, loyalty, and trustworthiness. So this is my thing, because I have to separate, and I would suggest people do this too, separating your trauma versus your intuition and your discernment. Because I've been betrayed even as a kid with friends, like, divulging in secrets and things like that. And then a friend talking about you behind your back and telling it all the other girls and, everything that you told them. So I've dealt with that before in junior high with a close friend going around telling everybody my business. So that would stick with me. I would be very careful of who I tell my business to, even now. And I feel like that's a healthy trait to have. But when it comes to a point where you can trust the person, but you're still like, I don't know about you. You know what I mean? You might have to heal those wounds so you can discern, okay, this is someone that really has my best interest versus somebody that does not have my best interest. So, yeah. So catch the word secrecy, loyalty, and trustworthiness. People that are in your circle, people that you're building with, you gotta be able to trust them, right? And they have to be able to trust you. That's the equal exchange. It can't be like, you're putting all your trust in this person and this person does not trust you, or, you're trusting in somebody that does not have the same loyalty towards you. That's not gonna work, right? Especially when you're building things together. Let's say such as a marriage or something. But when it comes to a friendship, you got to know that your friends have your back. If you tell them something traumatic that happened to you, you can trust that they're not going to go around telling everybody or exploiting you, because people like to exploit too. Like, oh, this person went through this and, That happens in relationships where you can date the wrong man or woman and you tell them your secrets, on some Samson and Delilah ish in the Bible, telling the person what your weaknesses are, where your strength comes from, and then that person like, okay, got you, boom, and then they're assassinating you or your character. All right, so the difference between that, what is an associate, a friend, and an enemy? So by definition, association typically it's people that work amongst each other in the same type of community or same type of circle or business or job, right? That's an associate. I used to fall victim to this. I don't know if anybody else has. Not to say that you can't build friendships in the workplace or business, but you got to know how to kind of separate that sometimes. Oftentimes, like girls will get in cliques at work. They'll start gossiping, talking about this, talking about that at work, and they think that that's their friend. But when you leave work, sometimes y'all don't even talk. You don't hang out outside of work, or maybe you do. But you got to know where to separate that. And associations with business and workplaces, you got to be a little more sensitive with those connections because your work is at stake. So if you're telling this person your business or you showing them like, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say, for instance, you smoke weed, right? And y'all not supposed to be smoking weed on a job. And on break, this person's smoking weed in their car, or you're smoking weed in your car, and this person is going around telling everybody, oh, they smoke. Next thing you know, you're getting called in the office, you're getting drug tested, and then you lose your job. You got to be careful with people. Like, how much you got to know the difference between, okay, this is a colleague versus this is a friend, because no, not everybody is your friend, and you got to know how to separate the difference between this is association, this is somebody that, like, for instance, let's say for me, like a poetry spot or something, or open mic place. Not everybody that you come across and you like might kiki with at that time or that moment in that place might be, they might not be your friend outside of that community, outside of that space. That's an associate. Some people consider friends that they go out with as friends. No, sometimes that's an associate too. Like, okay, this is the friend that I go out with. This is the friend maybe that I jog with, and that's that. You don't talk about your personals, your home life. You don't talk about your childhood with this person. You guys just kind of like talk commonality, common things, but you have that association. That's it. There's the difference. That could be built upon. I do believe that some associations can be built upon, and I feel like that is healthy too. You gotta vet people out, and if that is it's a common association with something, build upon that first. But to just go in thinking, okay, this is my friend, this is my homegirl, this is my homeboy, whoever, I can just divulge all of my information. And sorry, my went off. I don't even know why my alarm clock going off at 6 o'clock. But where you tell all your business to these people, and you got to be careful, especially when it comes to work. Big mistake. I have to share this story because it's so funny. And I don't know if this girl still watches my videos to this day. I don't know. But it's all love. Like, everything happens the way that it happens. So probably like I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, I had this friend or an associate that was a fellow YouTuber as well. She was a reader. And we, built off of that. We talked and stuff. We would, help each other out. And then we kind of would talk about our personal business to each other, And I started to get comfortable. And I think she was going through something at the time where her mind wasn't all the way clear, all the way right. So she comes out on YouTube, and I still to this day don't really know what her intentions were, whether it was to sabotage me or to mess with my whole thing, my whole shebang. But she was like making some serious allegations against me, like some crazy shit. And I'm thinking to myself, it's either one or two things. This girl is dealing with psychosis, like paranoia, or two, this heifer is like trying to like mess with my business, because where are you getting that from? Why would you make that type of stuff up? That's like some serious shit. And unfortunately, some people were believing it. So that you got to be careful. That's why I said you got to vet people out. And sometimes you can't always avoid certain things because people are going to be who they're going to be. Let's say I never told her my personal business, but we just conversed and we talked about spirituality and read for each other or whatever, but she still went ahead and did that. That is what it is. But you got to be careful out here. These people, some people just have motives. And What does it mean to be a friend? So by definition, friends mean to have a state of mutual trust and support between allied nations. So mutual trust and support of one another. That's a friend. So it recognize the word mutual. Mutual meaning we both, obviously y'all know what mutual is, y'all not stupid, but mutual being it's an exchange, it's an equal exchange. And it's a real exchange because the people, like if you're dealing with people that are like operating in like a narcissistic type of spirit, they can play the game a little bit. But my thing is this, like it's always going to be exposed no matter what a person tries to project to you and make you feel like, oh, I can trust you and oh, you're my friend. That shit's going to seep out. It's going to seep through. And I've dealt with that before too, where I've had people claim to be my friend or claim to love me. They even say they love me and, oh, you're my sister, you're this and that. But their actions show different sometimes. So it's like, okay, what is this? And confusion, if you're confused about a person, that's typically not a good sign, because if it's like, just like with the man that you're dealing with, right, as a woman or whatever, or a woman you're dealing with, this person is telling you they love you, they're calling you their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their boo, their husband, your wife, whatever, but this person is constantly cheating on you or they're constantly beating you down. That person doesn't love you, but it causes confusion in the heart and in the mind. Is this person for real? Do they really love me? You got to question that. Most likely, no, this person does not love you, truly love you. They love you from a conditional standpoint. You know what I mean? So like with my cousin that I was telling you guys about earlier, she was like my bestie cousin. Like we would do everything together. We got our first apartment together. Like the first time I ever moved out, she was my roommate. And I thought she had my back, and I would go back and I would listen to the things she would say, because it was like this thing. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like towards the end of our friendship as cousins, there was a girl that I was friends with in high school that knew her later on down the line, and they had beef. And I remember her telling me all this stuff about my cousin, and I was like, what the, like, I didn't know my cousin was like that. I was like, what kind of shit is this? So I'm kind of like, I don't know if I should believe this or not, because again, that's my cousin, right? And this is a girl that I know from high school, like we cool or whatever, but this is my cousin. I made the mistake of bringing them around each other, and I felt so bad for that. So we both played a role in, you know, bad things. But I do remember, and it's kind of hard to separate family and that friendship, but I do remember this time where she had a play cousin, a girl that she knew off MySpace or something, and they were friends, and she came into town. And I'm coming home from my mom's house. I'm coming home, and they're leaving out to go to the club. When I tell you these heifers was dripped out in everything in my closet, like not everything in my closet, but down to the shirt, the pants, and the shoes, these bitches had on all my shit. And I remember earlier somewhere, like some time ago, my cousin telling me, oh, nobody wears those sneakers. Those sneakers is whack. Like these, because I was into pastries. I don't know if y'all remember those shoes, but what's their name? Angela Simmons and Vanessa Simmons had a shoe line called Pastries, like a sneaker line. And I had like an obsession with them. I had to buy them every paycheck. I got me a new pastry. Anyway, she was talking about how whack they were. But mind you, these heifers was coming out the house with all my shit on. And then she was like, oh, cousin, you want to go to the club with us? We about to go to so-and-so, so-and-so. And I'm thinking to myself, like, what? Like, really? Like, And you know, as a tourist, like wearing my clothes and eating my food and shit, like I could fight you over that. Like I get really mad off that. But it was just something to show me like the loyalty and the disloyalty. And that cousin was very competitive, especially when it came to men. Like every guy that I was into or something, oh, he tried to talk to me and blah, 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 blah. Like it was always some catty stuff. So you'll see the signs that people don't really have your best interests. And I'll never forget when I seen her years down the line, because we went to go visit her mom. Me and my mom went to go visit her mom, and she happened to be there. I seen her, I was like saying hi to her, and she was trying to be funny style, like she didn't want to talk to me. So, you know, I gave her a hug. I said, you're still my cousin. I gave her a hug and left it at that. But to be honest, would I really want a friendship with her? Like she's my blood, but at the end of the day, it's like, do I really? keep her. No. So that is kind of a hard thing to separate when it's a family member and you have like a so-called connection with them. But even with that, like blood, sometimes that don't mean anything to some people. Like it doesn't mean anything. So you can't take it too personally when it comes to that. So yeah, enemy. What's an enemy? Someone, a person who is actively opposed or hostile to someone or something. A thing that harms or weakens something else. Case in point, an enemy. You could be, you know how people say you're sleeping with the enemy? You could be sipping mimosas and getting pedicures with the enemy too. So the enemy thing where it's like they seek to harm you or they're hostile towards you, that's where you got to pay attention, because I've noticed in every friendship that I've had to like walk away from, there was something harmful that was either done or something that was said, something that you can't turn away from. And I can almost like put every friendship that I've had to cut off being something with competing or something with a man. Of all things, y'all over here competing over some Dusty D, some Community D, somebody that probably don't even really love you or even want you like that, but you'll forfeit friendships for some dirty dick. Like, really. Anyway, so I had a really, really toxic ass friend one time in my life. I known her since second grade, and I talk about her all the time because this story is one of my testimonies, and this is one of the most dangerous things that have ever happened to me in my life. And that is why this, like, one of the reasons why I want to do this, because all these stories I'm seeing with these women and the betrayal and stuff like that, and this friend in particular always showed me that she was not a good friend, but because of loyalty and time, you know, even in between that time of second grade into adulthood with her, I don't remember when I had to separate from her, but I was in my early 20s, maybe mid 20s. And through all that time, it was always competition with her. She would, oh, something happened. You could tell, like, when someone's genuinely sharing good news with you versus somebody that's trying to compete or trying to, when you say something, then they're like, yeah, that happened to me too, and I did this, and it's like this thing. And I notice I attract people like that too, that they always have to one up you, and you're just like, bitch, I'm just telling you a story, or I'm just telling you something that happened to me or something, you know what I mean? But it's always like a, okay. Or they have to always tell you like, yeah, I did this and I have this credential. It's like, it's something to, like, they have to prove to you something. I'm just like, you don't gotta prove anything to me. Like, who the fuck? I be thinking to myself sometimes like this, I'm a nobody. Like, why are you telling me all this? Why is it important that you think I need to know this type of stuff? But this friend would do things like that. She would even puppeteer me and use me to attract men. And because I was so insecure and I had little to no discernment at that time, I would, you know, do these things. And I also liked attention. I was thirsty for attention because I was so low and insecure that, okay, yeah, let's do this. We're going to do this. We're going to go out. We're, you know, trying to be seen, right? So long story short, she was dealing with this guy that was abusive towards her. And me stepping in and trying to like have her back led to me getting assaulted by this guy. And that's what ultimately led me to separate from her over time. I did forgive her after that, even though she protected him and hid him or whatever. Cause I tried to get his, I sent somebody to whip his ass, but it was too bad. It didn't happen. She was hiding him. So yeah, I was toxic back then. I sent my daughter's father over there to whip his ass, and he wasn't at home. So I was mad, and come to find out she was hiding him at her house. So my mom, my aunt, everybody wanted to whip her ass. Like, but she was a close, like, she would come over to my house. She would be coming over to my grandma's house, and my grandma never liked her. Not even as a little girl, my grandma never liked her. And my grandma has pretty good discernment when it comes to people. But she would come over, have dinner with my family. We would go places together. I would come over to her family's house, her mom, her sister's houses, all of that. Like, we were pretty close. So when that happened, that was like an ultimate betrayal, and I forgave her. But the thing is, she never apologized. I was getting hurt too. I was getting abused too. And I had dreams, and this is the part where I feel like women need to take heed. If God keeps giving you warning signs, because every friend that I've had, I believe I had a nightmare about him, or not a nightmare, but more so a warning dream, like where something was happening, something bad was happening, or they were talking about me behind my back, or they were plotting on me or something. And now that those dreams, I don't take that stuff lightly anymore. Like if spirit shows me something like that, yeah, discern it and be like, okay, is this a fear that's projecting, or is this spirit warning me? It's most likely, it's most likely spirit if it's reoccurring. I've had reoccurring dreams about this friend, and I was like, nah. And at this point, I had a daughter. My daughter was still a toddler at that time, and I'm like, I can't risk running around, being fast, being loose, crazy, doing all this, and getting my hands put on by somebody else's boyfriend. Like, this ain't even my man. And I'm standing up and defending this heifer, and this dude puts his hands on me, like punched me dead in my eye, and my whole eye was like fucked up for a while. Like, to that point, like that friendship's not worth it, because she doesn't have my back. And even after that, like, bad things kept happening, like, so I had to say to myself, like, do I really want to be friends with somebody like this? And is it safe to be friends like this with someone like her, right? And not only that, I have a daughter. So if something happens to me, like, what's going to happen with her? Like, who's she going to have, So that's one of the reasons. And I remember reading a story, I think it was like maybe a couple months ago, or maybe more recent than that. A friend came to go defend her friend that was in a DV situation, DV situation, and ended up being killed. The boyfriend turning on the friend and killing the friend for even stepping in. Nah, you got to be careful with that. And the girl's sister, I just watched the girl's sister's TikTok saying that that girl has moved on with her life. She partying like nothing happened. So me stepping into that with the friend, or so-called friend, she went back to that dude. She dealt with him after that period of us not speaking or talking, and we came back and we started talking again. She was still dealing with that dude. He was still putting his hands on her. She got into a really bad accident. Thank God nothing bad happened to her. She got into a bad accident dealing with that dude. So it's like, Chenoa, you got to take heed. Like, let people deal with their own drama. Like, it's always the people that are not associated to the drama that when they put themselves in the drama, they're the ones that get hurt. So you got to honor yourself more than you honor disloyal people. You know what I mean? Is it really worth it? And then the friendships that say, the ones that, like I said, they come out and they tell you that they love you and that they have the best intentions for you, but then there's always some little weird energy. I don't like competing with my friends. Like, that's the ugliest shit ever. I don't like it. I don't like the way it makes me feel. Like, I can't talk to my friend without her trying to one up me, or her trying to say something to put herself up and then bring you down. And then dealing with gaslighting. Like, you'll address it and then they'll try to gaslight it and project it onto you. Oh, you're just jealous, or oh, you're just tripping. Like, you got to be careful with that. Those types of friends is like, those are the dangerous bitches. Those are the ones that you got to watch out for. Like, no. So, and then another thing too with this, I want to say, like, if you are having dreams about people that are reoccurring, a lot of times it's either like, it's not necessary that something might happen the way that it is in your dream, but it is spirit revealing to you the intentions of that person. So like I said, when I was having dreams about that friend that got assaulted by her boyfriend, I would have dreams about me being inward, like, and she would be moving on with her life. So I'm like, okay, it might not be literal, but who's to say that it is not? So I don't even want to chance it. So I don't talk to her still to this day. It was kind of hard to separate from her because of knowing her for as long as I did, and us, we had good times, but you got to separate the us having fun, us doing this, doing that, versus what she's really showing you. You know what I mean? So vice versa. There could be good things to take out of the friendship. You know what I mean? Like there could be some good qualities of that person. They could be funny. They could be somebody that maybe gives good advice sometimes, or somebody that you had the best laughs with. But you know how beneficial, you got to weigh how beneficial that connection really is versus how detrimental it really is. And some connections have expiration dates. You know what I mean? Like when you're young, you may be able to kick it with certain friends or do certain things, but when you get older, you're not going to resonate with these people for long. Like it just, you know what I mean? It dies out. So yeah, so you must vet out people. Take time to vet out your circle. So in the book, I just noted like a specific part in the Queenology book where RC, he says, it must be tested and proven. So people, like, that's anything that you're discerning. It must be tried and approved, meaning it has to be tested and proven, meaning not that you're trying to provoke people to prove to you that they're trustworthy, but it's more so like, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna just allow time to show me this person's intentions. And what I'm learning now is not to give it too many, like not over 2 times for a person to show me their intentions. Like if I wait for a third time, that third time is probably not good, right? So you don't want to give it too much room for grace before you're like, damn, I should listen to my own intuition. Then he goes on to say her circle cannot be haphazard. I think that's like a word for almost hazardous. It must be intentional. She must, Nova, give me a second. Let me get out, bitch. You loud mouth girl. Loudmouth girl. Okay. She must thoroughly sanitize her circle. So periodically, you do have to like check your environment, your circle. There's times where even like environments, hangout spots, hobbies and stuff like that, some things you might outgrow. Some things you just don't resonate with anymore. You might just not resonate with. So you gotta thoroughly dissect and vet certain things out. And clearing out your circle as an adult, you know, like I'm sure women on here, y'all know that there's people that you used to be tight with, and now it's like you don't have those people in your life, and maybe it does require that cleansing out of your circle. And there could be times where you could be the friend that people need to cut off. Like that happens. I had a friend that I was really close with in high school that we just separated, and she probably thought, you know what, this whole thing that I was doing, like my spiritual stuff and all that, she was Catholic. I wasn't into going to church and stuff anymore, so we didn't have that to bond off of anymore. I had a baby, I had a whole life, and I was in a toxic relationship, and I feel like that was something that she just was not in agreement with. You know, we just needed to separate. So sometimes, like, you could be the friend that people need to separate from, and that, you know, that's life, right? So it's not always going to be like you're the one that is the innocent, or it doesn't even have to be a bad thing. Sometimes it's just, at this point, there's nowhere else to go from here, right? So, and it could be all love. Like, that's a part of being mature too. It doesn't always got to be drama when you separate from people. It doesn't always got to be a hatred thing. Sometimes it's just a simple, you know, I love you, but we don't resonate, or, you know, this is not healthy, but let's, you know, and that happens in relationships, even romantic ones. So when you're elevating in your walk and your journey, you do have to go through periods of separation. I'm pretty sure majority of you, whoever is on, or when you watch this, when you are healing, when you're called to elevate within yourself, when you in your mind, in your spirit, in your heart, all of that, and you're going through that spiritual awakening or journey, it does require for you to separate yourself, because isolation and separation, especially when it's God driven, right? That's where you can sit and hear yourself. You can have that clear perspective because you're not clouded by the energy of this person and that person, or you're distracted by, over stimulating yourself with socializing and things like that. You have time to really sit with yourself, or just do your day-to-day life, but more from a perspective of it's just you now, where you're not focusing on, oh, I gotta answer the phone for my homegirl, my friend, my whatever. It's just you. Even in single season, you can apply this to you being a single woman or a single man, that it gives you time to really be with yourself and heal. It gives you time to discern what you want and what you don't want. It gives you time to focus on the things that maybe you were distracted by, or to pursue goals at this time, or to build a deeper relationship with just yourself. You know what I mean? Because you could have been a different person at the time of being in that friendship or that relationship versus now and where you're going. So being alone and a loner, whatever, that it has its benefits to it, especially if spirit is cultivating you and prepping you for something more in your life, or your life has a different meaning now. Like the girl that I was back then, that wanted to be seen, that wanted to be a video model and wanted to be a celebrity, all this little stuff, right? That wasn't the true authentic me. That's not really where my purpose and calling was to be. That it was something completely different. So if I didn't separate from that, the people in that time in my life, the boyfriends or the friends, and if I didn't separate from that, I wouldn't be able to even get to a point where I listened to where God wanted to take me. You know what I mean? So sometimes it happens that way. Sometimes you could be pushed out of a circle, and that's okay. Sometimes, like, especially when you are divinely called or chosen for something, there's certain associations you got to question all day, every day. Because if you're the only person that is focused on progressing, or the only person that is, wanting to elevate, and you're surrounding yourself in a circle full of people that aren't in that same mindset, they will they'll sink your ship, or they'll be jealous, automatically jealous, because instead of saying to themselves like, okay, I'm gonna get my degree, or yeah, I'm gonna do my business, or yeah, I'm gonna heal, I'm gonna break up with this person and focus on myself, instead of them taking that, they look at you. There was times where, I would surround myself with certain people that had more than I had, whether that was material wise, where they had a house, they had a car, or they had a man, or they had a degree, or they were doing this and doing that. And there was a period or season where I felt like I didn't have nothing going on. So I couldn't understand why people were still like competing and stuff. I would just be like, for what? But sometimes it's like your energy too. People covet different things. Girls naturally will compare, will be like, oh, she's so pretty. I wish that I could have a body like that. Or, oh, I wish my hair was like this. Or, oh, she's so lucky, she's so smart, blah, blah, blah. Like those things, like women and girls, they do things like that. But when it comes to a point where it's the envious part of it, oh, she thinks she better and blah, 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 blah. And, oh, if I see that she's smart in this area, well, I'm going to try to compete and make her feel like she's dumber. Like that type of stuff, right? But it's really a tough thing sometimes. Like, as you get older, it gets easier. But when you're a young woman or a young girl, like in your early 20s and younger, friendships and social life is your life. It's everything to you at that point. But as you get older, you start to see that your peace means more to you than hanging out at the bars and the hottest spots and having all the cute girls in your clique. Because there's a thing too. Even some grown women still do that, where everybody in their clique has to have a certain aesthetic, and it's so stupid. But that goes back to, low self-esteem, where it's all about the aesthetic and how you look and who you know. Like that type of stuff is so lame. But yeah, so where's my notes? Okay, so elevation never happens without isolation and detachment. RC goes on to say, when a queen is influenced daily by a common person, it will eventually dilute her regal standards. Hey, can y'all hear me? Okay. I'm sorry I can't read y'all comments right now. I'm like trying to like tunneled. But when you're surrounded by people that are on a common level in their life, meaning they don't gotta have big platforms, they don't have to be like popular or anything, but when their mindset is not focused on elevating or progressing, and sometimes like be careful not to externalize your progression on external things, like how much money you're making, your body goals too much. Like, don't make all of your progression an external thing, because when you do that, you're still sick in the body, you're still sick in the mind, and you're just a good looking vessel or somebody that's making a lot of money, but you're still not happy with yourself. Make sure that it's an internal process. And yeah, because those things, anything that could be stripped away from you, anything that has the subject to shift and change, is not something that you should place too much value in. Does that make sense? So like your character, who you are as a person, your heart, your inner being, those are things that cannot be taken away from you nor shifted, because it just is. Okay? So when you're connected and surrounded by those people, they will dilute you, your standards and your morals. They'll start suggesting things. I'm gonna go into the 7 aspects of a queen's inner circle from this book that I think are very important points. But you got to protect your character too. It goes without saying, like, when you leave this earth, what do you want people to remember you for? And it's not going to be how beautiful you were, how many degrees you got. It's not going to be how popular you were, how good you were in bed. Like, little stuff, like, it's not going to ever measure up. So your character is everything. So if you're surrounded by people that, because crabs in a barrel, they're going to try to taint you. This was another thing too that I noticed with certain people that were so-called my friends. It was always a thing of making me feel like a square. Even though at the time I would not say I was a square, I had a little bit of some common sense to be like, okay, I probably shouldn't be doing that, or this is a bad thing. I still had a moral compass inside of me that didn't do certain things. Even if they were doing it, I still was like, nah. But I would get called a square a lot by certain friends because I wouldn't do everything that they were doing. Like, they were into some really bad stuff, some really illegal stuff. And when you associate with those people, the pressure, why put yourself in the bubble of being compromised, or your reputation being compromised, or your life being compromised, or your character, because you want to fit in, or because you want to look like something, or you don't want people to make you feel ostracized. So what? Especially when you're a chosen person, you're called by God, right? You're not going to fit in. Even if you look back at that time that you probably were like wild, and because when I look back at the time that I was like out there doing whatever and stuff like that, I was doing things that were not authentic to me. Like I said, I wanted to be like a video vixen, and my god sister at the time, we would, do club events and stuff like that, and it was like doing too much. Like, when you see girls on social media or Instagram or whatever, TikTok, and they're always showing their bodies off, they're always showing off their behinds and damn near naked and stuff like that, you automatically think that this girl is probably insecure, right? So at that time, like, my aims were not right. My intentions and my values were not right. They were not in alignment with truly who I was. And it was like I was trying so hard that it was inauthentic, right? My boyfriend at the time was like, he would make fun of me because he knew I wasn't being authentic, because I was trying to live up to the look, stripper girls, like the stuff that he was into, the fast girls, the strippers and all of that. Like, I was trying to embody that type of energy, and that's not me. That was never me. So you're not going to fit in, even beyond friendships or in your, adult or early teenage years. Even as a kid, you probably never really fit in. When I look back at that, and it's not like a flex to be like, oh, I was always weird, I didn't fit in, and that hurt me. Like, to be transparent, I'm sure kids, like, when you don't feel like kids want to play with you sometimes, or you get picked on, or you know, that will stick with you as an adult. And it might manifest into circles and things like that. But if you really look, you don't fit in with everybody. You're not supposed to. So having the wrong influences around you during a crucial and fragile season can abort the growing process, your season of preparation and cultivation. Okay. So again, like when you're surrounded, especially like what I wrote down my notes, being in a fragile season of your life where you're being called to separate from things that don't serve you, but you're still surrounding yourself with people that are not willing to change or that go against your morals or whatever. So if I would have stayed friends with the childhood friend that was sleeping around and doing this and doing that, and I'm in my abstinence from sex, I'm abstaining from sex. If I was still friends with her, I would probably be tempted, probably, you know, God forbid, but probably be tempted to slip up and sleep with somebody because I'm hanging out with somebody that is obsessed with sex. Said it out of her own mouth that she's a nympho. She said it herself. So she can't go without sex. So if I would surround myself with her, that's her aim, that's her focus. And another thing too that I remember with her, it was always about men. It was always about dudes, like hanging out with dudes, going out to the club to find men. Like that was her, that's everything her life was centered around, was about men and men attention and sex. So if I would still be friends with her, that would be the thing, getting caught up in something like that. So I'm in a fragile season. I'm in a season where not so much because at this point, it's not easy to get me in bed. So, but if at that time, let's say I'm in the beginning stages of my abstinence season and I'm still friends with her, I would probably slip up. So why surround myself with people like that? So you got to be mindful when you're being prepped or being cultivated to be a new person, a new creature in God's calling for you and your true identity. You can't surround yourself with the people that still want to do this. Let's say you're abstaining from drinking, right? And you're hanging out with somebody that's always at the bar, always trying to go to the club, get tipsy, let's get lit, right? And you know that's not what you're supposed to be doing. You might backtrack into that again. So the crucial season of where you're being cultivated and prepped for something of purpose and of higher standard, like you can't surround yourself with those people anymore. It's cut off. Sometimes spirit will do it for you. You don't want spirit to do it because when spirit do it, when God do it, it's a little more of a harsher process, but you don't want to go through that. You must value your character, your name, and your life more than questionable people in your circle. So this can go with romantic partners. How much do you value you above this person? Because sometimes people will place more value on that person and being with them and keeping them in their life and compromising themselves. And there was a point in time where, you know, I had to cut people out of my life and I felt fake. I felt phony for still being friends with them because in my spirit, I'm like, I know this person is not for me, or I know that my spirit doesn't feel right around this person. I know that I'm getting dreams about this person, things that spirit is warning me about, but I'm still kicking it with them, or I'm still talking to them, and I felt fake doing it. So I had to say to myself, like who you value more? Because obviously this person doesn't value you. So why are you valuing this person over you? You know what I mean? You got to love yourself enough to really to think like that. Like, yeah, I may really care about this person. I may really love this person. They might have good qualities. This person could have helped me in some areas. But overall, is it compromising my spirit? Is it compromising my peace? Does this person really edify me or not? Because there was a point in time where I thought that I was being motivated and uplifted by a person. But then when I really look at it, it was almost like they loved me, but they hated me at the same time, or they admired me, but at the same time, they were jealous of me. So it was just kind of like, I can't deal with the confusion of that. That's a dangerous energy to be in, where you think that people really have your best interest, but there's a part of them that likes being around you. They may like the benefits of having you around. And some of them even like the fact that they feel like they can control you because, you know, they may sense that you don't know, or they think that you're just stupid or you're naive, or they have enough control over you where you trust them enough that what they say goes. And if they do bad by you, all they got to say is, oh, you're just tripping, or, you know, gaslight you basically, right? Or patch it up and be like, oh, I'm sorry, but then do it again. So second time, like I said, person shows me something the second time, I'm not fucking with you. And I mean that. I mean it. There, if you do the same thing, like the first offense, I might forgive you, but I'm going to watch you. Second time, second offense, I'm cutting you off because I don't want a third. So, yeah, no. So I'm going to read the 7 aspects of a queen's inner circle, and then I guess I'm going to just open up the phone lines. And if y'all want to like chime in on this discussion, or if you have a question or something, feel free to call. I'll leave my number in the chat in a second. So the 7 aspects of a queen's inner circle, I'm not going to go too in depth of it. I'm just going to note off the first, or the point. A queen circle must be loyal to her, right? Again, it goes back to the vetting of people, right? Second is a queen circle must be honorable and honest. Yes. A queen circle must be honorable and honest, and I feel like their character has to show approved with just them within themselves. Do they love themselves? Because if a person is not, 2 people that do not love themselves, they're not truly in a healthy relationship. That goes with friendships and romantic. If people are trauma bonding and they're sick within themselves and their heart and in their mind, their spirit is not right, and they're in a so-called relationship, that relationship automatically is going to be toxic, right? Point number 3, a queen circle must provide wise counsel. Another thing, a lot of these friends that so-called were my friends, they would give wise counsel, and to some degree, like some of them probably would give me things that I needed to hear. But there were always like some weird things that was kind of like persuasive, either to cause me to be paranoid about things, or paranoid about people in my life or my circle, or to make me question or doubt myself. And that's where you got to have a strong discernment, and also a strong sense of knowing who you are, so that when you hear something that goes against what your truth is, you don't take it on. But I would have counsel from some of these friends, and they would say things that were going against my morals, kind of like just YOLO. You only live once, just do it type of thing. And that's a dangerous mindset to have, is to just do something without a conscience with things and thinking about the consequences. But nowadays, everybody is just living for today. They don't think about, okay, if I'm 50, if I'm 60 years old, how is this going to affect me? Or if I have kids later down the line, how is this going to affect them? If I do become somebody of prominence, how is this going to, people don't think. They just live for today. Let me cut my booty all up and stick some stuff in it. And then my health, okay, I look good today on Instagram, but 2 months down the line, I might be dead in the hospital. People don't think about that type of stuff. But yeah, do they give you wise counsel, or are they telling you things that are detrimental? Like, I had to be transparent. I had someone suggest that I sleep with somebody, knowing that I'm on an abstinent journey. And I'm thinking to myself, why would you, like, that that's something that I'm on, and that's not just something that can be wavered or something that I'll compromise. That's something that I'm serious about. Why suggest that? So, yeah. Number 4, a queen circle must celebrate her victories as their own. Yeah. So your victories should always be people around you's victories. Like, if I hear genuinely that a friend is doing something, or is genuinely happy, or something is going on in her life, I'm going to celebrate it. Yeah, there might be times where you're like, okay, well, spirit, because, like, let's say, for instance, it's something that you want. Let's say you want to have a baby and your friend's having a baby. You might kind of feel a little bit of like, oh, I wish that was me, but you're still happy. And you're like, oh, well, I have a niece or I have a nephew coming. Like, it's a different energy that you'll have, right? Number 5, a circle must be reliable. How reliable are you? Reliability is everything in any relationship. Like, can I count on you? And not to say that you got to be at someone's beck and call all the time, but can I rely on you for this or rely on you for that? A listening ear, or, are you someone that I could rely on? And it doesn't have to be like you're exploiting that reliability or that loyalty where it's like, oh, if I need some money, I can just go to so-and-so. Like, it's not, it doesn't work like that. But y'all know the difference, I'm sure. Number 6, a queen circle must provide inspiration. So healthy inspiration, because even haters are inspired by the person they admire, right? But healthy admiration or inspiration, it inspires you to do better, not compete and be like, oh, she got an SUV, something, something. Let me go get me one. Like, that's not it. You know what I mean? It's more like, sis, you lost this much weight or blah, 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 or you changed your diet and you eating healthier. I need to do that too. Let me get on that, rather than being like, oh, she thinks she cute, or, reminding them, oh, remember when you used to be 200 pounds, but like stuff like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a different energy from that. Number 7, a queen's circle fights for her, like truly fights for her. They advocate for her. And this is a thing, when I was watching that video with the girl in Cabo with her so-called friends or whoever they were, right? The person that was on the phone recording it, the guy on the phone had the nerve to say, you're not going to fight back? You ain't going to fight? Rather than being like, why are you doing this? But obviously that wasn't their intention. If they're recording something like that, their intentions were to capture it, right? So they're not going to protect her. But if your friend is in a situation that they might be struggling with, whether they're dealing with depression or they might be in a toxic relationship, there's a healthy way to intervene and to intercept in a way where you're not compromising your well-being, or you can, because there's been moments where I've had, and I want to shout out friends that have truly helped me, because it's not, I'm just exploiting what is not. But what is a good friend, there's been times where, like, I would deal with heavy depression and stuff like that, for a time suicidal thoughts, and I had to talk it out with people. And there might have been times where I got on their nerves because I would get into this deep, dark depression, and I would just speak negatively about myself or over my life because I was in that deep place of just darkness. But being able to still like encourage and speak life into me, that is supportive. That's a supportive friend. You know what I mean? So let's do this. If you guys want to call in, don't be shy. I'm kind of nervous to do this, but this is like my Google number, so if anything is funny, I'll just cut the shit off. But I don't want any bad apples ruining for everybody else. So keep it respectful. We're all adults. If you don't know how to be an adult, I will cut you the fuck off. All right. All right. Anybody want to call me? You can. Yes, I'm going to agree with all the ladies in the chat. I didn't get a chance to see all of it. I'll probably go back and replay it and watch it over, because I'm sure you guys all had some good points in there. You guys want to discuss this? Y'all have a story I want to share that might be a testimony to someone in regards to this topic, or you have a question, or you feel like it's like something that could be an open a question that might benefit other people as well, don't be shy. Call me. Because I'm sure all of you ladies have gone through something with fake friends. And some of these things you're probably still healing from till this day. Like, because sisterhood is really a big thing. And I said this a few times to like my friends, like, when you break up with a friend, it's almost worse than breaking up with your man, because sisterhood is like, you tell them everything. Things that you can't tell your man, the way that women can vent and share things. Like, men don't understand a woman, just like men don't, women don't understand men. Their friendships probably mean a lot to them too. You know what I mean? That's probably where the bros before hoes code come from, right? Where that is everything. And when you lose it, it hurts a little bit more because you're more vulnerable. Yeah. Yeah, y'all can call in. Call that number directly. Just call it. I'll take some calls. Yeah. But it is it's not easy, like, and I'm sure like we've been toxic friends. Like I know I probably was a toxic friend to somebody. Like I said, one of my good friends from high school, you know, we just parted ways. We were not on the same wavelength. She probably like, this girl got too much baby daddy drama, this girl is reading tarot, I'm a Catholic, like she's no, you know what I mean, like, and that's cool, that's fine, you know what I mean. So I appreciate the friendship for what it was, and if we don't resonate on that level, and you don't have to be into the exact same thing, you know, as your friends and stuff are into. You gotta have a separate identity. But if it's something that does probably compromise with you and your morals, then that makes sense. Okay, let me know if it's working, y'all, because I do have it open. I do have my Google Voice open. But y'all get this book because especially as a young woman, I feel like you will benefit. But he's, um, follow him on YouTube or just watch him. You don't have to subscribe to his channel, but watch some of his content. And a lot of his content has helped me over the years, and just helping to love your, like, it's really helpful for self-love. And he does have a lot of discussions for women on his channel mainly. And I feel like no matter what age you are, you're never too old or too young to take wisdom and apply that wisdom to your life, especially from an elder, like someone that's, or even like from a man. Like for a man to come out and like give you like what really, you know, what men, without hiding and trying to be like for baits and clicks and views, telling women stuff to like groom them to be a certain way for a man, but really being authentic and honest, and also having women hold their partners accountable, or to hold themselves accountable when choosing wisely with the men that they choose to date or sleep with or even marry. That is a blessing, because a lot of men, like, they're not going to do that. They're going to feed into the, you need to be this subordinate, you need to be beneath under the man, you need to change this about yourself, you need to do this, you need to, men don't want no woman that has this, they need to be, they gotta weigh 115 pounds, and you like that. It's all about the superficial, the surface. He goes into the healing process, like the healing aspects of it. Did I miss calls? Okay, I just missed the call. I'm sorry, they're not even coming in. I don't know why. Oh, my bad, y'all. I have y'all on Do Not Disturb. If I call back, answer. I'm going to call this 630 area code back. Sorry. I have it on Do Not Disturb. My bad, y'all.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, Chenoa, how are you?
I'm well. How are you? Who am I talking to?
I'm good. This is Elfina.
Aw, hey, sis. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Speak freely.
Are we still on? Oh,
Yeah, we're still
okay.
on.
Well, you know, okay, I'm a little nervous. So,
It's
um,
okay.
you know, I had like a couple of incidences, like with what you're talking about friends. You know, it's like how they say, first time shame on me. I mean, shame on you. Second time shame on me. I do. I cut off, even though it hurts my heart because I don't understand what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I lived in an apartment complex like 10 years ago. You know, single mom, two boys, and after a while, you know, I wanted a house, a small house, and you know, I was searching. Everybody, you know, everybody that lived there, I hung out with. It was like two or three friends lived in the same complex,
Mm-hmm.
and they moved before I did. I was the last one to move to get a house. Even the landlord, you know, she was an older woman. This is people ranging from the age of 20 to like 70s that were
Mm-hmm.
my friends. As soon as I moved, none of these people talk to me anymore.
Wow.
I would I would call, I would reach out to them, and they wouldn't answer. They wouldn't return calls. So when I did catch them, they're like, you know, it's like, what do you want? I said, I'm sorry, I missed you, We're
Yeah.
friends. I mean, what's going on? How are you? Well, I'm busy. Call me back. Okay, you know what? I'm not calling you back. But if you want to reach
Mm.
out to me, I'm here. Call the second friend, same thing. Third friend, same thing. I don't know if they all share some gossip or something,
Mm.
but I I mean, we were buddies. We hung out, we ate, we did things together, we helped each other out. How do you just cut a person out because they bought a house and moved?
Right.
It hurt me so bad. And I mean, even just recently, I had a friend that did the same thing. I'm gonna say about a few months ago, she would confide in me. She's having problems. She borrowed money from me. I stopped calling out of
Mm.
nowhere. I just that didn't hurt me as much because I built up my skin, to deal with it after dealing with those people. But it's the cutoff. You sit there and you think, what did I do?
Right.
Did I say something bad? Did I? I don't think so. So I mean, that's the only thing that assures me I didn't do anything. So, but it hurts. It hurts. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
When I say I had no friends, it's like they just. I'm not, and I'm not doing great. I'm struggling.
Mm.
I'm struggling very much. I'm not doing better than them. I don't know whatever they think or assume, but they shut me down. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say, but I'm not reaching out to them anymore. I'm done. If I see them, I wouldn't even ask them. I wouldn't question them. I wouldn't talk to them. I'm
It's.
done.
Do you feel like there was ever like a point where you felt they might have been like competitive, maybe even with each other? Like sometimes too, like it's not always like one person is that way with one person in the friend group. Sometimes they're just that's their character, and they attack anybody in the group. Like I don't know if there was ever like a red flag with that.
You know, yeah, it kind of was, but you're like, nah, I'm being paranoid. Yeah, there was some small red flags, like when they start talking about each other, like one
Mm,
another, but I didn't join in on that. Like if one said this or one said that, I never joined into that because I wasn't about that. I couldn't do that. If I'm talking to you on a daily basis, I'm not going to cut you up behind your back and then
yeah.
smile in your face doesn't feel right. So it was like a few here and there. I mean, I can gradually, but just to completely shut a person down. I mean, don't answer calls. I don't understand that. No explanation. It was nice. I don't care about having closure,
Mm,
but it's just to know if I did something, that I sinned, that way I don't do it to anybody else. I was like,
right.
forget it, I it's done. I wouldn't dare. And in fact, I have seen some of them uh, recently on and off, and I didn't say a word to them. They didn't know I was me. I didn't say a word to them. For what? This is over with. But it was hurtful how it ended. But there were some small on a very minor. You sit back and look at it after the fact,
Mm,
and then so that's what it was. But you didn't think, you wouldn't think of you, because we're friends. That's all I can think of. We're friends. We have fun. What happened? I don't know. It's and it happens too often. It's just that original one. That one really hurt. The
yeah.
little ones every now and then. Like I said, my skin is thicker now. I can take it now, but I'm not open to myself to run into that. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm,
not mean. I'm not going to be rude, snotty. I'm not going to be unhelpful, but I do have some walls up. Just in case, Just in case. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't understand it. I don't even know how they live with themselves doing people like that.
Well, if you look at it, like you said, like they talk about each other behind each other's back, that already kind of shows the character of them, where, like, you know, it's not a loyalty in the circle. So, them um, disappearing after you got something kind of shows you that they never really were friends, like, not just to you, but to each other. You know what I mean? Like, that's toxic. That's
Right.
like that's like Mean Girls, like the movie Mean Girls. They weren't really friends. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. And I think yeah, no, you're right. And see, I didn't look at that. I looked at it as, I've helped them in ways I don't think anybody ever would have. I really don't. I'm not saying I'm a great, wonderful person, but I know how people operate. There's a lot of people wouldn't have done what I've done for them. And I mean
Mhm.
all of them. Nobody would have. And it was from my heart. And I think that's why it really hurt
Yeah.
to go through that. But yeah, you're right. You're right. That's exactly what a mean girl thing.
Yeah.
Except everybody should have been more mature than that.
Age, yeah. Age don't mean maturity. That don't mean nothing. The number
No,
of.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't because I'm telling you, the landlord, the one who managed, she even cut me off. This thing was like 73 years old. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, not
Mm-mm.
like we were like buddies, but I take her places, I take her shopping because she didn't drive, and
Mm.
nobody wanted to be bothered with her because she smoked. They didn't like smokers. I felt bad, So we talk, we go to the, beauty shop, we go to the mall.
Mm.
How do you 73-year-old woman? Are you serious? Yeah, no, age means absolutely nothing. Nothing. So, I mean, like I said, that's fine. But I feel what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I feel the strength. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah. It makes you wiser, and I feel like it's
Yeah.
healthy too that you assess like, okay, did I do something? Like sometimes too, I feel like self-blaming, like we can gaslight our own self sometimes and be like analyze
Yeah.
every, because I do that, self-criticism. But I do feel like it's healthy to an extent or on a certain level where you do assess like, okay, did I do something in a friendship that could have warranted this? But just what I'm getting, I don't feel like you did, because there was already red flags showing that the friendships, there was some loopholes there. There was like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean, like it wasn't all the way healthy as far as like gossip. And women, we always talking about like, gossiping or what's the tea. But when it comes to like your friend group where y'all just like, oh, this heifer, and then you get on the phone, you talk to another one, that's like, no.
Right. 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 Yeah. Right. But yeah, you live and learn by it, and then you recognize it later. You do recognize the signs, as with being wise, from going through that, you see it now, so you can block it, a little bit better. But you still
Mhm.
run into it. You still run into it. You just
Yeah.
handle it better.
Yep. You handle it better and you can discern it better. Like all of every experience we have, like it really is an experience and it's a lesson and wisdom to take from it.
Right. Right. And that's what I've gained. And I no regrets. No regrets. Just at the moment, why, what did I do? But I feel good. So I'm okay from going through it. It made me better.
Yeah.
It really did.
Well, I'm glad. And I appreciate you, sis. It's good to hear your voice. I don't think I ever talked to you on the phone or did a
No, I'm
phone.
going to talk to you. I know your voice. I know you never talked to me on the phone. Thank you so much. I appreciate this session.
You're
I
welcome.
love, getting stuff out.
Yeah, we'll do this more. I like this. This is cool. So I'm
Okay.
gonna call. I missed a call, so let me call them, and anyone else, like, y'all can call in. So if I miss you, I'll call you back.
Okay. Well,
All
thank
right,
you.
sis. Enjoy the rest of the evening. I don't know if you're gonna stick around with us, but yeah.
Oh, I am. I'm listening in on this one. Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right,
Okay. Bye-bye.
peace. Okay, I missed a 912 area code. I'm gonna call you back. And I think it was one of my sisters actually, because I recognize that name. So let me see. Let's see.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm just calling you back. I missed your call, so you on?
I think the thing is delayed because I'm watching, but I can hear myself. This is Kenya, your actual friend.
Oh, why you sound different?
I think it's the Google Voice thing, but I just wanted to call in and say how much of a good friend you are. Everyone needs to know. I'm going to pause this thing because it's delayed. Hold on.
Okay.
But everyone, Chenoa is such a great friend. Everyone needs to know. It's still playing. Hold on.
Oh, because I can hear it in the
Okay.
back.
So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So like I was saying, Chenoa is my actual friend. She's an amazing friend. I wanted to call and edify her on her live. She's amazing, supportive, just very present, very encouraging in every aspect. And I've actually, as a friend, I've been away because I just had a baby, and that's been the whole thing. But she's an amazing friend, and what she's saying is true. You know, she's had some friendships that haven't worked out, but I truly believe she's going to be in the space where she calls in even greater friendships, greater connection, greater sisterhood, and I'm very, very, very happy for her and proud of her. And I just want to call in and say that. I don't really
Oh.
have anything else to say. But yeah, very, very happy for you and proud of where you're going. And I think your audience needs to know that you are speaking from a space of truth and you are actually an amazing friend who is extremely supportive, extremely present, extremely speaking from a space of truth. Like it's not like, oh, this is just what I'm um saying that I want because of theory. She actually practices what she's talking about. And I just wanted to call in to say I really appreciate it as a receiver of her love, her sisterhood, her friendship. It's really nice. And thankful. That's all.
Thank you. You got me like trying not to.
You said
Okay.
what?
I'm trying not to like cry and stuff. I just got off my lady time, so I'm still emotional. But no, I
Girl, I'm
appreciate
going
it.
to my lady time, Lord. We out of sync, but it's just I really think your audience needs to know that you're speaking from a space of truth. Like there's been a lot of hurts in friendships that you've
Mm,
had with sisters who you felt were sisters, and it
mm-hmm.
didn't really do right by you. But you are a I would say a phenomenal friend. Even through like you were speaking earlier about having depression and stuff, and I hope
Mm-hmm.
you wasn't talking about me when you said that some of your friends get on their nerves. You ain't never got on my nerves. I really love you. I really support you through all of those things, and I also want to say that even through me just giving birth and having a baby, you've been supportive in that, giving me space and time to grow in motherhood. But I feel that our friendship and our connection, our sisterhood is still just as strong in spite of that. And actually, probably more strong because you've been present for me and you picked up on the cues to understand that I need a bit of time to adjust to motherhood. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I mean? So that intuitive knowing and still holding space for me, even if we don't talk as much as we did talk or whatever, still the sisterhood is strong. And I really appreciate you in that. Everybody need to know. I had a call. I was like, I made it to a live. One, I made it to a live, and two, I was like, they need to know that she's speaking from a space of truth, not just like in theory, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I wanted to call and say that.
No, I
I was
appreciate you,
like,
Fred.
let me hop on the Google Voice and say my piece.
Yeah, because I'm like, I thought I saw your name, but I'm using my iPad, not my phone, but I still seen your name, and I was like, was she FaceTiming me or something? But yeah, because it showed your name at first. I'm like, maybe it's Kenya.
Mhm.
But
It's me.
yeah.
Yeah, I really appreciate you, and I really think that I know it's been hard going through those sisterhoods or feeling like you had a sisterhood with certain people, and then there was an element of betrayal. But I do ultimately know that you're going to cultivate the sisterhood in the circle that you desire because you're putting forth effort and you, at your core, you're a really good friend. So there's no reason why that wouldn't come together for you.
I receive it. Thank you, sis. It's good to hear
That's
from
all I
you.
want to say. Now I'm gonna hop off of here and go back to my little corner.
Well, I'll hopefully catch up with you soon because I know it's been a minute, but you know, you've been busy with the baby and stuff. So, but I
Yeah,
love you
but
and I
I'll talk to
appreciate
you
you.
later and keep doing everything that you're doing because it's amazing. Everything that you have going, the counseling, everything. I've been watching from afar. Very good, and I'm very proud of you. And I love you, and you're an amazing friend. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying it because they need to know it. And I will talk to you later.
All right, sis. Love you. Talk to you soon.
Love you too.
All right.
All right, bye bye.
All right. That was my friend Kenya. I appreciate her. So, let me see. Okay, I could take some more calls if anybody wants to call in. Nina, I'm not on my regular phone, so I can't respond to your text message. I don't know what you said. I don't know if you want to come on. You're more than welcome. My number is pinned in the chat. So if you guys want to come on, take some more calls or because I don't want to keep y'all too long because we've been on here for a good minute. So, oh yeah. So the book, because one of my ladies, one of my sisters on here, she asked what book was this. I got this off Amazon, Queenology by R.C. Blakes Jr. He has a YouTube channel, and I would suggest going on there.
Call from Nina. To
Bueno.
accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Okay, all right, press one. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Nina.
Hello. Well, I don't know why I'm nervous. I talk to you every day. I agree with what your friend just said. Even though I have not known you that long, I mean, it hasn't even been a year, right?
Not even.
I don't know, automatically can see you. You know, I see you. And even though you try to hide who you are, sometimes I can see you. And you are. You're just a real person. That was one of the first things I told you when I talked to you on the phone, that you're a real person, and that's rare in these days and these times of humans. And I pride myself on friendship. Me and you are supposed to do a podcast about this, and we still will.
We
And
will.
my friends are my family. Ever since I was a little girl, I spent more time with my friends than I did my own family. And I've dealt with a lot of backstabbing and, always tried to make myself be the best friend I could be. Of course, I didn't do everything right, but one thing I wanted to share was two friendships that affected me pretty badly. Bad things happened in them. And the one was just recently, it was a couple years ago, and we were very close. Probably the closest friend I've ever had. And out of nowhere, she just turned on me, like, very quickly. And I've told Chenoa about this, so she knows, but, like, it broke my heart, because even her daughter, her teenage daughter, said, I don't get it. You and my mom have never even had a disagreement. And we were friends over 10 years. And just like that, she just turned on me. And the same with the first lady that called in. She just didn't know why. And I was in the same place. I had no idea what happened. What did I do? Because I'm the same way. I pointed the finger at myself. What did I do? And I couldn't think of what I did. And then it was like, she said I changed. And I was like, what? We talk every day. How have I changed? Like, it didn't make much sense. However, this story actually ends with a good note. We're actually rebuilding our friendship now. She came back into my life last year and tried, and has been trying every day to make up to me what happened, and has apologized and trying to build my trust back. But like Chenoa, I'm a Taurus, and once you break my trust, it's very
Hard to get it back.
Especially when you just turn on me out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere with no reason. And I'm grateful that she's owned her mistake and does value my friendship and me. And because our kids are close, our sons were 4 years old when we met. So
Hmm.
our kids have grown up together. We spend every day together. We've been through deaths and divorce and everything, breakups, and to lose her was very traumatic. And then right after our friendship ended, I had a really toxic relationship after that. So it was like back to back, just nightmare.
Hmm.
But like I said, we are trying to rebuild, but unfortunately, you see, the trust isn't fully there yet. And sometimes when I'm talking to her, I feel bad because I love her to death. I don't want to not trust her, but it's hard
Yeah.
to just pretend like nothing happened. It is. Which she's not doing. I'm not saying she's doing that, but you kind of do have to be. You don't want to rehash it every day. You don't want to keep bringing it up.
Yeah.
And then the other one, we were friends for 25 years. Since she was 11, I was a few years older than her. And I put up with her toxic behavior for a long time and just felt bad for her, honestly. I know it sounds horrible, but I felt bad for her, and I was like her only friend for most of our friendship. And I allowing it until finally I take no more. And unfortunately, we still don't talk today. And it's sad. I'm still very close with her daughter, but I can't jeopardize my own health, my own mental sanity, and just keep giving when I'm not getting anything back. And it's really sad because, like I said when I first started this, I not only do I choose to be a good friend, it's like embedded in who I was to be. I'm a Taurus. I'm the year of the dog. I was born to be loyal. Like that's just who I am, and that's who I choose to be. Always chose to be that way. So when I lose a friendship, it's devastating for me.
Yeah.
Very devastating. So I just wanted to share that because sometimes, when friendships do break up, they don't get back together. They don't fix things. But mine, we actually did, and her being in my life is very important to me. I love children very much, like they're my own. And, my son, she's one of my
Uh-oh.
son's favorite people in the world. So it means a lot that we can rebuild it and that she's grown enough to apologize and admit her wrong to try to make things better with me, and so I don't know. Okay, I'll shut up now.
No, I mean that's understandable because you have to heal from, I guess I don't know if you want to call it the betrayal, but like kind of similar to if you get cheated on or you cheat on a partner, like you got to give yourself that time to heal past that. So it's not ever just gonna go like it's not that it's never gonna go away, but it's not gonna happen like overnight. Like you know what I mean? Because you're still healing what happened and what she did, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I also don't want to continue to make her feel bad. Like if she's trying to heal
Mhm.
herself, because clearly it had nothing to do with me, and she expressed that to me. And what am I going to do? Just keep beating her up for it? That wouldn't make me a very good friend to her either. So
Right.
it's a very fine line with that kind of stuff. But for me, I'm the backwards. Like I will trust you until you give me a reason not to. And sometimes that blows up in my face.
Right.
And unfortunately, and Chenoa knows this, I've cut out a lot of people in the last 2 years, and not because I'm, Billy Badass and I can do it all my own. I don't need you. I'm 40 now, so like I just have no tolerance for people not valuing me, especially when you're the most important person in my life because you're my friend, and my
Yeah.
family. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I love this. I love this. I love that there are people utilizing social media in a positive, healthy way, and knowing that you're not alone. You know?
Yeah. Like I feel like our stories and stuff like when we share it, it's healing not only for people that are listening to it and may even like identify with it or have a similar experience, but it also helps you to release more too. Like you're going through it, you're you know what I mean, like you're processing it, even if it was like years ago. But yeah, like similar to you and Alcina, like as far as not knowing why certain friendships and stuff didn't work or why friends treat you the way that they do, you know, a lot of times like it's really like we might externalize or internalize other people's behavior. You know what I mean? Like we take it too personal sometimes. Like let's say your friend, she could have been going through something at the time, or the women that Alcina were friends with, you know, they have their own quirks and issues too. So it's, you know, they're gonna take it out on whoever, you know.
Right. Yeah, and I jokingly with her after we got over all the apologies and the tears and stuff, I told her, I'm like, why me? Of all the people in your life,
Yeah.
why would you do that to me? It just boggles my mind. Not to say that I'm a saint, because I'm not. I've done dumb shit in my life too. So, I'm not perfect either. But being a friend has never been anything I have ever not taken serious.
Yeah.
That's very important to me. I've never tried to get one of my friends' dues. I would never do that, because the hurt and the effect that's going to have on that person and yourself, because let's be real, you're not a robot. You're going to feel emotion from it too. You're going to feel like crap eventually if it doesn't happen right away.
Yeah.
And it's not worth it to me. In the long run, none of that. I can get my own dues. I don't need yours. I just would never do anything like that. And I wouldn't even do it to a stranger, just right out hurt somebody, just because you're hurting, which hurt people do hurt people, but I don't know. And then, you said something about age doesn't matter, and it doesn't for the most part, but it does in some ways, because you do get wiser.
You know better. Yeah.
Yeah. You do start to understand cause and effect a lot more. And for me, I tell Chenoa this all the time. For me, the biggest thing, so simple. I just realized I don't want to feel like shit anymore. I just don't want to feel bad. I want to spend as much time on this planet, in this life, feeling good. And ultimately, it's going to make everyone around me feel too.
Yeah.
Because it starts with you.
Most definitely. Yep, your piece should be number one, and it gets easier. Like I really do feel like it gets easier, but the vetting and all of that, it takes away the process. It takes away the hurt later. Like, discern now or cry later. It's up to you, but you know. And them lonely seasons, like they're needed. Like I'm sure we all probably had a time where we didn't have no friends, or when we didn't talk to anybody, or when we probably didn't feel like it. Like there's periods where I don't always feel like talking to my friends or going out, and I have to be careful with that word friend too. Like I don't have many people that I can genuinely say are my friends. I probably count on my hand and maybe a little bit over on the other hand, but not too many that I can say are my friends that I genuinely trust.
Well, if you notice, most people don't.
Yeah.
Most people don't. Most people have a core, like you said, 5 or more people, maybe even less than that. Because they've that trust.
Yeah.
It's hard to trust with a giant group of people. I mean, that's just kind of impossible, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it is hard.
All right, that's all I'm going to say. Somebody else call in. Love ya. Love you, Chenoa.
All right. Love you too, Nina. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, bye.
All righty. Anybody else want to call in? You're free to call in. Don't be shy. Hey, Glitter Mommy. Yeah. And then sometimes it could just be like it's a temporary thing, because some people gotta heal, like with lovers and stuff too. Like some people find later down the line they were better off coming together at a later time than at the time that they wanted to be together, and it probably wasn't meant because y'all probably weren't ready for that. You had to mature in certain areas or heal certain things, you know what I mean, or live your experiences before. So with friends, sometimes that happens. Friends could come back together and mend and heal, just like with Nina. Her and her friend had to go through that separation, and isolation. Anytime that you're being pulled into a period of separating with people or things or environments, know that it's for the highest good, whether it's to protect yourself and or protect others from, maybe what you got going on. Like, it's always good to have that time. And I feel like we, because we're community minded people by nature, humans, community and tribe means everything to a human. And that's beautiful. That's what family structure, that's why it exists, right? But you do have moments where you have to have that relationship with you. Your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship that you'll ever really have, right? So yeah, that's needed. And sometimes separation and reconciliation comes from a period of healing. It comes from a period of just going through the experience, like, you know what I mean? But this topic was definitely needed. I feel, you know, I sat with God and I was like, I know you want me to talk about something. And I got the revelation, and God said, talk about something that you know that you've worked through, that you've healed from in certain capacities. Like, because I don't feel like I'm exempt from ever experiencing some funny behavior, but I feel like the more you experience certain things and you apply the wisdom and stuff like that, the easier it becomes for you to walk. You walk different. You're not going to repeat the same things, the same lessons over and over and over again. You take heed to it. And I really want to say this for the young women that like are in their early 20s, mid 20s, or even younger than 20, and your friends are your life. And I got chills as soon as I'm saying this. Like, y'all really have to value yourselves more than you do friends and boys and young men, whatever, because some of those relationships, they're going to come and go. And I wish somebody would have told me years ago. I wish I would have ran into a R.C. Blake's video when I was coming up in age, to value my body more, to value my loyalty more, to value my reliability, my faithfulness more towards people. And I've had the discernment to scan people better before I gave my trust away, or my heart or my body away, and not to spend so much time on people that were just seasonal people. But everything happens for a reason, and I don't necessarily regret my past, because I wouldn't be able to tell y'all the things I've been telling. My experiences and my story, I wouldn't be able to even extend that to you if it wasn't for that. You know what I mean? Without a testimony, what story do you have? Where is the blessing? Where is the wisdom? Where is the healing in that, right? But if you can avoid certain things rather than repeating them again, do that. Some of these homegirls, they come and they go. There was, in that video that I posted about the enemies in your life or whatever, I had the old vintage Hollywood picture as the thumbnail. In that video, I included this girl, Mariah Pointer's story, this video of her being jumped by all of her friends. And these were girls that she called her best friends. And they allegedly, I guess, got into it over her sitting on one of the girls' hamburgers. And I said to myself, nah, that was an excuse. They planned to gang up on that girl and do what they did, jump on her. And there was even a man in the background watching, holding the baby, watching them do this to this girl. And I could just only imagine the shock that girl must have felt, seeing her friends just start ganging up, like girls she said were her best friends, ganging up on her and putting their hands on her all together, stomping her out, like beating her like a dog on the street, like abusive. Like, that has to be traumatic, and I can only imagine. So not everybody is your friend. And I noticed, in the culture now of like social media, everything is about aesthetic. Everything is about how we look together. We got to look like the baddest bees in the clique. And none of these girls probably really even like each other. And I see it so much where it's like, it's so detrimental, because the spirit of jealousy, when it starts to like brew in a person, how they say a jealous lover is a dangerous lover, because you black out. And some people, kill or harm their lovers because they black out in this rage and this jealousy. So if a friend is holding all this animosity towards you, let's say she's drunk as shit, and all of the feelings and the thoughts and the animosity towards you start to brew, and then out of nowhere she's doing something that she later regrets. And I keep seeing these stories, y'all. I hate to hear these stories. It hurts my heart, especially like all the other ladies that came on saying how they value friendship. And when you value your sisterhood like that, and then to have that betrayal, them doing things to you, because there were certain things that happened in friendships that I didn't understand. Like, I would have friends like do certain things over a man, and I'm thinking to myself, like, why is this dude so important that you're willing to like jeopardize our friendship, or try to front me out, or play me over a dude, like, or it's just, it doesn't make sense to me. And I don't understand that, but I get it that when people are um, wounded in a certain area, or when they don't value themselves enough, they'll go ahead and men, because like I said, one of my friends, she was a sex addict, and she valued men. Like, her existence was about men. Everything she did was about male attention and sex. So of course she's not going to value me as her friend. I don't got a ping for her. I ain't got no D. Like, what am I going to do for her, right? But it's like that type of insecurity and low vibration and low self-esteem, that's dangerous. That's dangerous. And I wish I would have knew that. I wish I would have knew the game. Like, okay, this girl, she's D-obsessed. She's stigmatized, literally. And I'm standing up to her, to this dude that she's gonna sleep with again. Like, this is what he beats her ass. That wasn't the first time he beat her up. He whoops her ass. I was just there to witness it that first time and try to step in. I made the error of stepping into something that she wasn't ready to step out of, and put myself in jeopardy and in harm's way because of that. Thank God I could see with my two eyes that eye was fucked up. Like, he fucked my eye up. Like, it's funny now, but it wasn't funny then. But like, God forbid something else could have happened to me. I had a pocket knife. I was like threatening him, like, and he punched me. Like, who's to say he wouldn't took that shit and cut me or something with it? You know what I mean? Like, I wish I would have known better with that situation, because those types of women, they're going to go back to their abusers until they're ready, or until they're in a box, unfortunately. That's the only way they'll leave, when they're ready to, or when they're in a box, or if something happens to him. But other than that, like, those types of women, like, they are loyal to the dick. So they don't care about their friend. And I wish I would have known that, because I wouldn't have been surprised at the fact that she hit him from, at the time, my boyfriend at the time, that she would have, left. But she was so caught up in that life. She was so stuck on him. She had that soul tie towards him that she was more loyal to him than me, her friend that she knew since second grade. So that's why I tell women all the time, like, you gotta watch people's patterns. You gotta pay attention to the things that they do. You gotta pay attention to how they treat you. Like, that's gonna tell you everything you need to know. Everything you need to know. And sadly, like, most of the demises of my friendships were always over some dude. Always. And a dude that didn't really want them. They was just sleeping with them or playing with their mind. And they would always choose that phony shit. Or if the dude was like showing some type of interest in me or something, or it was something of maybe being intimidated, thinking maybe he wanted me or something stupid. And that's never my thing. Like, sleeping with other women's men or my friends, that's not my thing at all. So I never understood that. But it's always over a man. And that's the insecurity that some women have. It's like everything is centered around a man and what they think and what they want. And I want to be with him. And like, okay, you see how long he gonna be around, or he can keep beating your ass, but I'm not gonna be being loyal to you. I'm just not gonna do it. So, yeah, I don't have time for that. Like, I embrace people that embrace me and that value my friendship. And you can be in a relationship with a man and not compromise your friendship with someone. You can still live that life. But I notice that women take pride in being chose by a man because they don't choose themselves. So they'll take pride in that. Like, oh, a man chose me, or I'm married now, so that makes me validated, or and you don't have a man, and that shows you what type of friend you're dealing with. Who wants to deal with that? So yeah, women, young girls, especially young girls in college, high school, watch your friends. And grown women, watch your friends. If you feel funny around a person and you don't know why you feel funny around her, or why you can't figure it out, or they smiling in your face, oh girl, I love you, you're my friend, da, da, da. And then they doing some funny shady stuff, the next breath. No. No. Mm-mm. I don't want to hear another story about a girl getting jumped by her friends, or getting put in a box by a friend, or whatever. Like one of the girls that I was talking about earlier, I can't remember her name. I put her in that video too. It was a mugshot of her so-called best friend, sister, friend right there, and then her. And her boyfriend did something to her. I can't say how he did what he did, but he did some vile things to that girl. She kept it quiet. She didn't even snitch on him. She told the friend, and the friend must have felt some type of way that her boyfriend would even look at her friend. So they came up with a plan and suffocated that girl, threw her in a park somewhere, and had the audacity to help the mom find her body. Like they didn't know where she was. Those people are in prison now, but that girl was considered her friend, her sister, her best friend that did that to her. So it's not even worth it. It's not even worth it. Over a sorry ass dude. Like women just throw their lives away over me. I'm telling you, like that's the lack of self-love like that we have. In in times like women or girls, so like men is their whole existence, their whole life, their validation means everything. And these are dudes that don't mean shit. Men that aren't even loyal to you, they ain't even loyal to their homeboys, they ain't loyal to nobody, they loyal to themselves. But you're giving all of your dedication to this person, and you're, whatever, you lowering your self-esteem, you know what I mean? Or you killing your friend over some dude. Like, what? Why? I don't understand that. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't get it. So it hurts. It might hurt for a little bit to separate yourself, or it might hurt that you might got to be by yourself. You might not have no friends, especially if you're in a toxic circle of girls where y'all all clicking up and everybody's catty, everybody's talking about each other behind each other's back, or sleeping with this one and fighting over this dude, or oh this and that, like all kind of petty drama. You might feel alone for a while, especially if you're like a college girl or something, or you are in this big circle full of girls, or you're in the it girl clique and you're the ostracized one. Okay, you're gonna have to make peace with the fact that you might not be a part of that circle, but it's for your betterment. You don't want to be going out hanging out with these girls one night, and then one girl might say something funny to you, y'all get into a fight, and then the other girls are sitting there watching, and because they already don't have loyalty towards each other anyway. So one girl gets jumped on or whatever, the other one might just be sitting there looking like whatever, that's what she get, or whatever. No. And I've seen that before, like girls that only click up, especially in high school. Like we would have like the it girls, like the it black girls in high school that would all click up only for the simple fact that they were pretty, they dressed real dope or whatever, or all the guys wanted them, or they were on cheerleading squads, whatever. They didn't like each other like that. They didn't really like each other. It was just a thing of just being in each other's midst. And you got to watch out for opportunist friends too. People that only want to befriend you because you've got something, or they think that you can benefit them or feed off of your energy, or see what you're doing under the table so they can duplicate it and do it too. Like, you got to watch people. You have to. You have to. Please. There's real friendships out there. There's real love, real romantic, beautiful relationships that you deserve. You cutting and Xing out a relationship that is not for you is not going to kill you. Being alone for a season is not going to kill you. Even if that season turns out to be 2 years or 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, whatever, 4 years, whatever. Your peace, your well being should matter more than staying in a relationship that's not healthy. Yeah, it's scary. You might be like, well, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I don't know how I'm going to be able to not be with this man, or I don't know how I'm not going to be able to be without this friend. And everybody's probably going to think I'm a failure because this relationship didn't work, or this friendship, I might have people talking about me, or this person might slander my name or whatever. You got to risk all of that. Your peace means more to you than that. And I wish that some of those other girls would have taken heed, because I truly believe God always gives us a warning. Always gives us a warning. There will always be warning signs. Your intuition will always tell you. When I look back, I had weird feelings about people and I didn't know why, because I'd look at them and be like, there's nothing wrong with her. Maybe I'm just tripping, or maybe I'm just jealous, or maybe I'm intimidated. Maybe it's, I had every excuse in the book what it could have been. But like I was telling, who is it, Elsina, I think I was saying to her that the fact that you can assess and say, let me check myself and see if it's something in, I'm saying or I'm doing or that could have caused this, or I might be in the wrong. It's good to check yourself, but not to the over analyzation of it to where you're gaslighting yourself. If you don't feel right about somebody, trust it, because it's going to show proof. It's going to be proven to you. And you don't want it to happen multiple times before you're just like something bad happens. Or where this person really backstabs you, or, you know what I mean? Like, recognize a bad person or a bad friend or a bad lover versus somebody that's in progress of healing. It's the difference between someone that is in progression and is healing themselves and recognize they're in the wrong and they're doing better, versus somebody that makes excuses or continues to cause offenses over and over and over. That obviously shows you they don't value you. They don't care. They feel like, oh, he or she ain't going nowhere, or they'll just take it. They'll put up with it. No. Love yourself more than that. So I'm going to leave it at that, y'all. I think we done did enough. But before I get out of here, you guys, again, this book, any age group, you could be 50 years old. This man, I've been watching him for a couple of years. He has really helped me with my healing journey and my perspective on just me as a woman, in a sense, and also with love too. Like, really being discerning of that. If a man is leaving your life, or this man is like, when you're holding yourself to a certain standard and this person dips out on you, that's because that person is not even doesn't hold the capacity to even be with someone like you. They don't deserve it, or they're just not meant for you. So there's no need in crying or trying to chase them and all of that. And I've been there, done that. I can't wait. I got another discussion that I'm going to do. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I think I got to wait a little bit. I might have some other discussions that I have before I have that one, but I've already got everything. Like, I'm going to go in on that. So we're going to go back to the love discussions, because that is something that I know. I know a lot of the stuff that I've been through and experienced and stuff like that is going to help somebody. And some beautiful points that Spirit just, like, when Spirit gives me a topic, like, I go in, it's a whole thing. Like, I take notes, I look up definitions of things, I'm going into, like, it's a whole thing. I can't wait to share that with y'all. And I will have a call-in session with that as well, because I'm more than 100% sure that a lot of you ladies gonna have some questions, or you're gonna have some stories that's gonna help somebody. So I am going to leave it at that. But don't forget this book right here, Queenology. I got this on Amazon. I don't even know if I probably spent maybe 20 something dollars on this, if that. I don't even remember. It's a quick read. He has some beautiful points. Anybody that's like dealing with love situations, or you're trying to heal, or you are in your single season and stuff like that, sometimes it does help to have both a man and woman's perspective on things, especially a healthy man like that and an elder that can speak to you and help you no matter what age group you're in. I see the comments to be women that's in their 50s thanking him, women, young women, middle-aged women, whatever. Everybody can benefit from some of his content. He does come from a religious standpoint sometimes, but he's not overly religious to where you feel like you're at church and you feel like somebody beating you down. I feel like he's an amazing teacher. So yeah, I'll shout him out all day. Um, in that book, I would highly suggest, if you feel led to, get that book on Amazon. It costs like barely nothing to order it. I got it on Amazon Prime and got it in less than a day or less than 2 days. I think I got it the next day. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. If you guys would like a coaching session, I am available for coaching, singles coaching, life purpose coaching. I have opened up coaching sessions for men as well that really are serious about their business, their work, okay? Their inner work. And, you know, any focus or goals that you have that you want to go into, I'll be glad to help you and assist you with that. But other than that, y'all, I'm going to tap out. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, your night, your evening, wherever you are in the world, your Friday, your Saturday, your Monday, your Tuesday, whatever. And I'll be back soon. Oh, and if you guys have any questions or any discussions that you guys like to have, go on my website, click the little brown chat bubble on the right side of the screen. You can go anonymous or you can email me your questions. And I do have one topic that I received earlier today that I'll probably get to tomorrow. So anyone that has any topics, I would love to discuss that. Spiritual topics, love, whatever, relationships, purpose, whatever. And if I feel like it benefits the collective, we can go in. All right. Much love, y'all. Thank you for joining. Peace.